Hello everyone, welcome to Fine Moon Rising. This is Aquarius July 2025 Tarot and Energy Sigil. So right now I am pulling cards for your sigil. The cards will direct the sigil. So what happens is I collect the cards, kind of gather the meaning on a little post-it there, and then I choose a affirmation that will direct your July energy and also direct your sigil. So your sigil will be make room for progress. July is going to be a month of progress for all Aquariuses. Okay, and so it's kind of interesting. Your sigil actually was very telling compared to your astrology. Your astrology, I just felt a little bit, just a lot of bigger things happening around you, not necessarily, within you, because you're kind of focusing inward. And so that can be kind of, a difficult thing for the astrology. Okay, so let's go to the sigil. So you have the Knight of Swords, the Four of Wands, the Hierophant, and the King of Wands. So basically happiness is on the horizon. You need to let go of something in order to make room for this happiness. So you're kind of expecting it to come in. It's almost like it's something you already know. You know something is looming on the horizon. You know something is going to make your life a little bit easier. You know something is going to be better for you in the future, but you got to let go of something else. It's going to be different for everyone, but there is that thing, that nagging thing that you need to let go of. Could be a person, could be a situation, could be just stuff, that's getting in the way. If you keep repetitive cycles, repetitive things that you're doing, something simple, something big. So that kind of thing. Need to learn to prioritize your time this month. I think because of the energy and because of the build-up energy, also the focus inward, there's very much a time to prioritize self, prioritize, where your mind is going, how you're doing things in the future, and also preparing for the whole rest of the year. I feel like there's an energy of preparation for you. Okay, so the sigil that I am drawing, it ended up looking kind of like an octopus, and I wasn't really interested in like a sea theme, but then, Libras kind of look like trident sword, so it's kind of giving that octopus feeling to me, and I feel like, octopuses, they're so interesting, or octopi. They're so smart, and they know kind of what they want to do. They're very social, very smart. They can be tricky, that kind of energy. And I feel like that maybe that's how the way that you're feeling is why your sigil is ending up looking this way. It's like you have places to go, people to see, and you're figuring out the easiest and best way to get there. So octopi, they will squeeze in any tiny little tight spot in order to get where they want to go, to get into something, to get out of something, to do what they want. If a light bothers them, they'll try and slap it, or if a fish is bothering them, they'll slap the fish away. They'll fit in a tiny spot in order to get, the food or whatever it is, because again, they're very intelligent. I feel like that's your mind, very intelligent, but figuring out the best way to do things, and that takes prioritization. Prioritization, going inward. What do I really want? And why do I want it? And where am I going? That type of thing. There's going to be quick questions that are popping up for you kind of repeatedly. So, and I feel like that's why the astrology would seem a bit flat to me, is because you are definitely going in. All right. Now let's see. Okay, so end of month. So you can expect an improvement in career and finances by the end of the month. I feel like there's something unexpected there that you just don't see around the corner as a result of other things around you changing. And again, you're very inward, you're inward focused, and then stuff happens and you're like, I got to come back to this reality, right? Not the reality of my internal reality, but the exterior reality, and kind of deal with this situation. Now, this is not a bad situation, especially money-wise, career-wise. I feel like this change is unexpected, and it's going to come end of month, so that might bring you some extra income, or at least some extra opportunities and extra connections. Okay, so there's definitely Uranus and Gemini right now, and that's a sudden change in how we're communicating. I feel like there's just going to be something that you may or may not be participating in. You're deciding whether or not it's good or bad, or for you personally, and I feel like this sudden change is just going to be on maybe how you're communicating and how the world is communicating. And so there might be some sort of, it's not necessarily monitoring, but you may just be pulling back from certain things because you just don't have time. And and it's, again, you're going to a different place, and so you know, you're like fitting yourself in the best, like that octopus, you're fitting yourself into the best way to get there, right? The best path, okay? Jupiter in Cancer, of course, is focused on your home life. And that's why I feel like there might be some sort of expansiveness as far as going internal. It is kind of a reevaluation. And again, there might be an opportunity, and I feel like it is the latter part of the month that is going to allow you to re-examine your path and what you kind of want career-wise, and also how you're going to embark on the rest of the year. We are definitely planning for the rest of the year at this time. And I just feel like Aquarius has that energy of how are things going to go and how am I going to fit into this. It's not fitting into a box, never in a box. It's just how you're going to go with this different flow, okay? So it's an oddly spiritual month for you, just, you know, FYI. I think you're just going to have a lot of downloads, things like that. You might just be learning new practices, so it's just oddly spiritual. Let's get into the tarot, and I'm sure you've seen a picture of the tarot. There, it will pop up again. You do start with a Hierophant. Okay, it's starting from a place of knowledge, starting from a place of, yeah, I do kind of know where I want to go. I do know the path that I want to go down. Not 100% sure how we're going to get there, but I do know the path. Okay, do have the Seven of Pentacles, making those choices. This is a month of choice for you. And again, we're prepping basically. You're not like, you know, putting a tinfoil hat on and growing potatoes or whatever those people do. I have no idea. No shade on them. I don't know what they do. But more preparing yourself for the rest of the year and for your success and for how you're going to flow in this new world, right? And also different communication. So you're making choices along that line for your future, okay? And that can be right down to where you're putting your money, because I do see an acorn here. You got the world in your conscious reality, and that means you are planning, you're kind of sucking away those acorns, you know, planning. That's a nest egg. You're figuring out your future finances, that kind of thing. Those things are going to come into mind, and you're going to kind of be figuring that out rapidly for yourself. And it can be things like making rent, making mortgage, travel money, whatever it is that you do normally, okay? And where you're headed, that direction. You do have the Seven of Swords in the past, so I do feel like something was a bit shady. And there's been some shady business going around that you're noticing, right? And that is what spurred on this going inside, this going internal, this kind of preparing yourself for the future, is the shady business, whatever that was. Okay, you do have the Six of Pentacles, so that's definitely taking care of your energy expenditure and how much you're willing to participate in this, that, or the other thing. So I think you're going to be monitoring yourself in July. You know, it could be just, you know, as a result of the season, something like that. You do have the Magician here, and the Magician is me, myself, and I. I mean, this is a very internal reading. This is a very spiritual reading. It's like it has a big feather on it. You might be seeing like feathers or signals, certain type of insects or birds that might be coming into your existence that will be signals of you're going the right direction. Signals maybe from the great beyond. Maybe you have a grandmother who's deceased who pops in as a cardinal or something like that. There's some sort of signal from the beyond letting you know that, hey, you know what, you're doing fine. You know what, you're handling stuff. You're doing it. That type of thing. You do have the Tower. You've been coming at things of like, I'm gonna change, like changing your mindset. It's wild, you know, it's almost like looking at things through wild eyes. You're not really sure what's happening, and that's been your approach, is like a kind of willy-nilly, wild, not really sure, that type of thing. But I think you're pulling that energy in. You're pulling yourself inwards, getting centered, following the path, that kind of thing. It's a very inspirational, very spiritual, pulling your center in, getting connected to source energy, whatever you believe in, you are coming from that standpoint. Do you have the Death card of transformation in your reality? Everything is moving very swiftly around you, and I feel like it's just as a result of maybe the world, maybe your career path, and possibly your family changing, your friend group changing, that kind of thing. So there is something here about everything is transitioning around you, and it's kind of forcing you to come back to that locus of control and then figure out your next steps, okay? You do have that Hermit, and the Hermit is that going within. It's going within for healing. It's emotional healing. We want to kind of go within. We want to take that time. We want to get centered. We want to make decisions from that locus of control. It's controlling. It's your self-control and how you're going to embark on your new path. You know, what are you going to be in the world? And I think you're figuring that out. That's the advice for you. the Queen of Swords, kind of going ahead very rapidly, taking these very rapid steps in a very exciting and new direction for yourself. And it's kind of cutting out the bullshit I'm getting. There's some sort of bullshit that you're cutting out. And that's to make room for this happiness, because I feel like this happiness is coming. You see that on the horizon. I feel like there's a reason to cut out some stuff that is just like not really there for you, not really showing up for you, not really on your path. Okay, it's just getting in the way of what you need to do and the direction that you're headed. Okay, so we do have bottom of deck, which is the Two of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the High Priestess. Okay, and again, High Priestess is definitely an internal card as well. It is that examining of the shadows. It is an examination of what is going on. What is going on inside? How are you feeling? How are you reacting? That type of thing. Two of Cups, making that choice of bringing things together that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, that attracting that. It's a very attractive card of things starting new, starting fresh, with the intention of happiness in mind. So you're going to be very attractive to things that are going to be, let's just say, going to allow you to bring things together, bring people together, going to go down the same vein, on people on the same level, career path on the same level, creative sparks on the same level, just people showing up for. I'm getting guides, if there's guides coming, and that can be in the form of a physical actual person that shows up that says, hey, have you thought of this? And then they bring you an idea and then they disappear. That's a guide. Okay, or guides from the great beyond. This is a spiritual month for you. Maybe you're sitting in meditation and then all of a sudden you have an epiphany. That would be a guide showing up for you, right? Or if you have specific guides that you definitely make contact with, they're going to move in and out of your life depending on what you need and also what they need. They are different entities, right? So there's something here about guides showing up to direct you, but also just kind of help you. No one can do anything for you. You're going to do everything yourself. You're very independent and intelligent, just like that octopus. And you're very capable of moving in any direction that you choose. And so there is definitely this energy of you kind of embodying that wonderful energy of I can do this. I know where I'm going. And we're going to choose the best path for me. So bottom of deck, still we have the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is releasing things. So again, we do have to release that thing that is just kind of getting in the way from us, in the way of our progress. So that's where you're headed. Okay, Aquarius, if you enjoyed this reading, please like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much.